Hello friends, today I'll start with the IoT in the transportation and the road. How we can use the IoT based device in transportation and the road. Okay, so now, so in the so when you think about the transportation, so in transportation, so one is the road and the transportation facility and the road, the quality of the road and the location from where we are transporting on goods from one location to another location, the transportation, everything needs to be matter. Okay, so now when IoT, if we think about the IoT, right? So you think about the IoT. So normally IoT based device, what lots of benefits are there for case of the IoT in automobile and transportation and the road, right? So in case of the automobile, if you think about the automobile IoT based device that can easily build a self driving car and auto semi autopilot car. This kind of the car can be built by using the IoT based automobile technology. And if you think about the transportation, IoT based transportation, it can drastically reduce the traffic management and the smart parking systems are also available that is based on the IoT device. Okay, so in case of the transportation, one is the road, right? How the IoT device can be help in the case of the road. Okay, so normally if you go from one location to another location, the traffic is one of the important thing. Okay, and the construction site in a road, some of the road is constructing. Okay, then construction site and poor rerouting and the information about the traffic flow of the traffic management, these things are the main concern if you think about the road. Okay, suppose construction site, poor routing of vehicle, right? Traffic flow of traffic. Okay, these things are main concern when you think about the road, right? So the IoT-based device which improves this thing. Okay, if we have some congested area and construction site, so we cannot go through this side. Okay, so IoT device already give the information about the construction site, and if we need a poor routing systems are there, that can be also by using the IoT and the flow of traffic management. So how many traffic if there any traffic and congested area is there, that thing already can be captured by the IoT device. Right. So these things are main important in case of the road. Everything can be minimized by using the IoT device. If you put IoT device on the different location of the road, these things can be minimized. And next is the transportation. Okay. Next is the transportation. In case of the transportation, if we design the IoT device for transportation, okay, it can reduce the fleet management. How it can reduce? By reducing okay by reducing fuel consumption, travel time, and traveling point from one location to another location. By using this thing, we can minimize. So IoT device, so in case of the transportation, if we design an IoT device which can drastically reduce and which can improve the fleet management, right? And by reducing, which can improve the fleet management by reducing the fuel consumption and the travel time and traveling point from one location to another location. Okay, now come to the, if we design the IoT device for transportation, what is the architecture for designing the IoT device in case of the transportation, that I will discuss now. Okay. So in case of the architecture, okay, now come to the architecture. So now in case of architecture, so first we'll tell about the transportation. Transportation means transporting or transferring one suppose goods, vehicle, and the passenger from one location to another through air or by air, by water, and the by road. Okay, so the different way you can transport the information from one location to another. The information may be car, maybe goods, or maybe passenger, right? So how if we think, if we want to give the summary of the architecture, so for that, there's normally the transport means the data will come from the vehicle or data per passenger. So some kind of the data will be sent through the sensor layer, and after that the sense data will be transferred into the servicing layer, okay, through the communication protocol. And the servicing layer, this will provide some decision, okay, based on the business requirement. So service will provide the decision, okay, based on the business requirement. And the sensor data, this will be stored in the infrastructure layer, okay. So for future purpose, if you want to again analyze through the servicing layer, so sensor data should be stored inside the infrastructure layer. So this entire thing I will discuss now, okay, one by one. So first come to the application layer, okay. Application layer, so where application layer is that layer where tasks to be or activity to be performed, okay. So in case of the application layer, normally what are the things are there, okay, the objects where tasks to be performed. So application layer may be vehicle, passenger, goods, like this way, okay. So from the application to so transportation means the vehicle, passenger, goods, this side to this should be transferred from one location to another location. So these so where, at which location the task to be performed, at where the task to be performed. So the vehicle, passenger, goods, based on this requirement, so we have to change our process, okay. So the vehicle, passenger, goods, okay, these are the application layer. These comes under the application layer, okay. So this is the base of the application layer where tasks to be performed, right? Next come to the so this will discuss this entire application layer is related to other layer also. So now normally whatever tasks to be performed, and the location of this these tasks are under the application layer, like a vehicle, passenger, and goods, okay, and logistic also, okay. Next come to the sensing layer. Next come to the sensing layer. So this is the interaction between application layer and the communication layer, okay. So sensing layer, that means normally it can track those data from the application layer, okay. It can track the data from the application layer. And in case of the sensing layer, there normally not a communication layer, there is a communication layer as well as the sensor network, okay, electronic component. So entire thing under the okay, sensor layer consists of sensor network and the electric component, okay. So whatever activity should be required, okay, whatever task should be required, so these tasks should be detected by the sensing layer. Sensing layer mainly something should be detected from the application layer, and this detected data will be transferred into the sensor network, okay. That is a hub of the communication protocol, okay. So normally whatever activity is required, this activity For performing those activities, we need to collect the data from the application layer. Okay, so by using the sensing layer, the data should be collected from the application layer. Okay, so here, so for collecting data, we need some electronic component and the sensor networks. By using the sensor net, different kinds of the data can be collected. Okay, so for the sensing layer, you need electronic components. Okay, different kinds of the electronic components are required for sensing layer, right? So all the electronic components are embedded into the sensing layer. Okay, it is a sensor hub. Okay, so by using, we are collecting or detecting the application data, application layer data from the application layer. This is about the sensing layer. Okay, so the parking data, parking related data, vehicle data, and the passenger related data can be detected by the sensing layer. So what are the examples? CCTV camera. How can you detect CCTV camera, the RFID, image or text reader? So, okay, by using this electronic component, we can detect the data from the application layer. Okay, so these are all under the electronic component. These are also a network hub, sensor network. Okay, and next come to the communication. Communication layer. Okay, under the communication means the interaction between application layer, sorry, sensing layer and the sensing layer and the service layer. Okay, so the sensor data that will be transferred from the sensing layer to the whatever data. Suppose by using the CCTV camera, CCTV camera and RFID tag, we can collect the parking related data, the vehicle related data, road related data we can collect. Okay, and traffic related data also we can collect, and those data will be transferred into the service layer that I will discuss later. So what is the service layer? Through the communication protocol or communication network. Okay, so some channel or communication is required from transferring data from sensor layer to the other hub of the IoT platform. Okay, so for that you need a communication layer. So what are the things? Communication layer means through which platform we can transfer data. So here the channel should be either 3G, 4G, 5G. Okay, it may be Wi-Fi or it may be wired. Under the wire, you can better use the optical fiber. Also, it may be private or public, private to public network. So these are under the communication layer. So through this Wi-Fi or the optical fiber public or private network, we can send the data from the sensor layer to the service layer. But in this communication layer, there are lots of issues. One is the privacy and security issue. When you send the data from the sensor layer to service layer, you need to think about the privacy and all the data should be most secured and most encrypted when you send the data from sensing layer to service layer through the communication channel. Okay, and another point is that so transmission speed and transmission accuracy, these are also important. Okay, transmission is how the data transmitting. Okay, the slow processor means so you cannot get a hold the data from the sensor layer to the communication layer. The communication channel should be very fast. Okay, data transmission speed should be very when you transmit through this platform. Okay, so from sensor layer to the service layer. Now, fourth point is come to the service layer. Fourth is the service layer. It is the layer where activity should be performed based on application layer requirement. Based on application layer. It is the service layer where the activities should be performed whatever data is collecting from the activity sense application layer. So based on this data, based on this requirement, so some activity should be performed, okay, and some decision should be taken, and some decision should be taken. Okay, so this is the service layer. So what kind of activity should be performed? Suppose analyzing and processing through computing tool. Okay, analyzing and processing should be done in the service layer through different computing tools. Okay, suppose we want to go from one location to another, so through a particular road. Okay, so in that particular road, so by using the CCTV camera, we can see that lots of traffics are there in that particular. So the traffic related data that will be stored and that will be come from through the from application layer and through sensor and communication layer to the service layer. So so that means from the service layer will automatically will get they will give a decision on the through which road you have to go. So rather going to that particular road, you have to move in a other road. Okay, you have to go to the different road. Which road you have to follow, which road you have to choose for going from one location to another location. That decision can be taken by the service layer after analyzing that data, that particular traffic data. After analyzing that particular traffic data by the servicing layer, so decision can be taken. So this entire thing can be done in the servicing layer, analyzing and processing through the different computing tools. You can use also machine learning in the service layer, right? So this is about the service layer. Now the last is the infrastructure layer. Okay, infrastructure layer. Okay, so in this infrastructure layer, cloud computing, cloud storage, big data, these are come under the infrastructure layer. That means this is the layer where we can use some technology for improvement of the requirement hour. Okay, so we can use some technology. So here we can use some technology for use of technology. These are the technologies. Okay, use of technology, okay, for performing activities in the servicing layer. We're using some technology for performing activities in the servicing layer. Okay, or we can also use those. It can also improve the our requirement. Also, it can also improve the performance or requirement based on the application layer. So, normally some data. So, lots of data are coming from the sensor layer. Okay, so these data. So only within the same time we cannot analyze some data. Okay, we have to, so after some time we have to again visualize those data. We have to take a different decision from after observing those data. Okay, so this data, for observing those data, okay, we're using some tool, but for observing or for analyzing in proper way, okay, or for predicting something, we need some technology where we can store entire data or we can visualize this thing. Okay, by using the cloud storage or big data, we can store lots of data, or we can analyze or visualize in proper way. computation and computing and analyze, normally the processing can be done in the servicing layer, but in the proper analyzation that will be done in the infrastructure layer. Okay, so that is what are the technologies we are using: cloud computing, cloud storage, and the big data. Okay, these will be used for improvement of our performance. Okay, for improvement of the performance. So what kind of the decision can be taken? So we can take two three decisions. Okay, two three routes are there, we can follow, but which route will be better? Okay, that for proper analyzation, that infrastructure layer is required. So these are about the IoT architecture in the transportation layer. So what are the layers? The application layers, sensing layer, servicing layer, communication layer, servicing layer, and the infrastructure layer. Okay, in the next class I will discuss about the automobile and the other different use cases. Thank you.